Gonna play a little Father Indigo, Big Dog right now. Give you a chance to get notified and come on in. Spend some time together. Clarify a few things. So because I said Esau is trying to use his camps and people like that to kind of go against some things that we've been bringing out. But of course, they won't come straight out and say anything. I said, but we'll take care of that. And also, like I told y'all about the other nations, I was like, Trump said 14th was about black people. They're trying to the Second Amendment, they're trying to make these false equivalencies. So we're going to get into that as well. And also some people are saying that, well, the word slave goes back to Slavs, means they were talking about white people. It doesn't matter what they try to say anymore. It doesn't matter how they try to, explain, well, Trump really meant white people. Well, he could have meant white people a long time ago. That's why they already got their blessing. They made sure that when the 14th Amendment was, when they were actually implementing it, they were giving all the white people the perks, right? So yeah, it doesn't matter what they say. You guys got your payoff. No matter how you want to flip stuff and say that slaves meant white people, that's fine. Then the white people have been getting their perks for the last couple hundred years. Now the Most High is like, well, that's not who really should have got it. These are the people that should have got it. Now it doesn't matter. Exactly, they are reaching. So you can say whatever. You can say it was meant for white people. That's fine. Then you guys gave it to white people for the last couple hundred years, or last 150 plus years. White people, you guys got it. Now the Most High is taking it away from you. That's why everybody wanted to be white. That's why everybody wanted to be white, and that's just not just for color, but for status in society. But before we get into that, let's play a little Big Dog. We're waiting for more people to get notified. All right.
Open up your heart to my love right now. Call what's your name, talk to
We talked to you guys about how the other nations are not touching what Trump said about the 14th Amendment being for Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Being for so-called children of slaves. Now I said, it doesn't matter that they're saying things like, oh, well, slaves, he meant white people because of Slavs and stuff like that. That was fine for 1860s, whatever else, because we were still under the curses. So whatever justification they had to come up with to start to throw themselves all into, you know, the 14th Amendment, so be it. So be it. You know, I said, it doesn't matter because you guys, just like y'all took our Bible and said it was for everybody too. You took our Bible and you took out the pictures of who was really in the Bible and put your own in there. You could do all that because it was your time of your blessing. So you could screw up the world as much as you wanted to because that was your time. Okay? Your time is now done. And Trump is the perfect analogy for that. Being in your blessing, being in your cursing. Blessing, cursing, all encapsulated into one man, Donald Trump. He was the president at the last little time, last 4 years of your blessing. And he did not touch the 14th Amendment. He did not go after all of these different immigrant groups to send them out. He did not do any of that, right? He was still going after black people. He was still telling Colin Kaepernick to shut the F up. We don't want to hear you. Any of that kind of stuff. Don't do that here. You know, go do that somewhere else on your own time, right? He was doing all those racist kinds of things at that time, 2016 and 2020, because those, again, was the last 4 years of your reign. Now he's back in power. You thought he was going to be going after black people again. He was going to be making us, you know, he's going to have his eyes on us and do everything against us. That's why you voted for him, because he was the last vestige of your ruling and reigning time. But when you put him in this time, the total opposite. This is not the same. Y'all keep saying this is not the same Donald Trump. He's different. Yeah. All of a sudden now he's talking about the 14th Amendment and how it's only for black people. Why did he say that before? Because you're in your blessing. Why is he saying it now? Because you're in your cursing. Because we are in our time of restoration. We are in our time of restoration. We are restored. You have had everything taken away from you. Now look, you know, all of a sudden, right now, yeah, he's going after the Latinos. He's going after other groups. He's going after the Haitians. And I'm going to show you guys something, because the brother showed me something that, like Malcolm, he made a couple of videos. One was about, he's sick and tired of people saying there's not going to be any Jacob's trouble. So, of course, he's talking about us, you know. And I know it said that there's not going to be any Jacob's trouble. What we're saying is that we all have already gone through Jacob's trouble. We've already gone through Jacob's trouble. That is the difference. It's not that we haven't had to deal with anything. It's just that we've already gone through Jacob's trouble, which they do not want to admit. Well, who else doesn't want to admit that? I'm hearing Malcolm from GMS. I'm going to show you guys a couple of his little things. I'm not going to play anything of it because it's the same repetitive BS as he always says. I says, but hopefully the audio is okay. Says, but he's trying to like sit here and act like Jacob's trouble is coming in the future, and that the things that we've gone through in the past was not Jacob's trouble. Sounds good? Okay. All right. Thank you. So first, let's play a couple of this one video, maybe like only like a 10, 15-second clip, talking about how the Gentiles are now trying to come at the 14th Amendment was for black people, but their breakdown is hilarious. It's horrible. Okay, so of course it's a white dude. All right, first one, talk about birthright citizenship and how it wasn't just for black people. I was like, you guys are in no position anymore to be telling us what things mean. You're not in any position to say what this means, what that means. I said, because you've lost all credibility and the Most High has taken your power away. So let me play it.
Birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people. Ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
What? Like seriously? Then why doesn't the Constitution say only for slaves? Using this logic, when the Second Amendment was signed, muskets were only around. So does that mean that we can ban all guns except for muskets? I think we should go for it.
If they want to take away birthright citizenship.
So that was your thing? Really? That's not what it... Oh, because it was old and antiquated, that it's not the same as... Really? I was like, but the whole thing is that people have benefited from being able to use the 14th Amendment that they never should have for themselves and for their families, and they're still benefiting from it today. Still benefiting from that today. Oh, why does it say that? Why doesn't it say that right there? They shouldn't have to, because that was, if you look at the times, it was talking about when slavery was just abolished, and the in Dred Scott case again needed to. They were not human. They were not considered part of. They were not a citizen. So you need to take that out again, right? Like out of context as usual. And then of course they use a black girl to say the same thing. So if a black person said it, then it must be true. So good job using another blaster here. But hold on.
Shit. Take it away from everyone. And then let's all do 23andMe and see who's from the Americas. I mean, if we're gonna be racist, we might as well do it right. DNA test for everybody.
Wait, what?
And as if we could trust a DNA test. And you guys, Native Americans don't even take DNA tests. They don't even take DNA tests. Ish doesn't take. It's illegal to take DNA tests. You see what I'm saying? And we know these aren't accurate. Okay, now we can listen to the lady here.
I mean, if we're gonna be racist, we might as well do it right. DNA test for everybody.
Wait, why did nobody tell me that birthright citizenship was meant for the babies of slaves? On the basis of that logic, we gotta follow what Trump says, y'all. A lot of things have changed. If you don't have a musket, can't tell me about the Second Amendment. Baby, if you're not pouring in, and I mean pouring it in, shoving that stick down and ready to shoot, so no more blickies, the Glocks, you're gonna have to put them down.
So the Supreme Court just pulled the fast one on them.
Why would a so-called black person even be like attacking that breakdown anyways? You see what I'm saying? Like why would if Trump just told you that the 14th Amendment's for you, and you're gonna be like, oh no, that's not true. If that's the case, then the Second Amendment should only apply to muskets. Why would a black person even say anything about that? That just shows you that, again, there's an agenda going on, and that these people are blassels. They want to make sure that exactly she getting kicked out too. She's not invited to the barbecue either. You see what I'm saying? Like that makes no sense. You're sitting here. What are you fighting for then? Like Trump is trying to help you out, and you're like, nah, I don't want that help. Nah, I don't want that help. She's definitely an uninvited guest. Let's see something here. Family. Give me a quick second. I'm looking for something real quick. That wasn't the one. Hold on. Yes, this is the one. Let me show you guys, because look, this is some funny ass stuff right here. Let me show you guys what the 14th Amendment has done. The 14th Amendment has allowed people to come in and swoop up properties that we couldn't get, keep them in the family, and live high on the hog. That's what this 14th Amendment has done. And you guys are like, oh, well, the Second Amendment, I was like, that's two totally different things. People have been able to come over here and get property, land, pass that down to their kids, buy more property, land, pass that down, and live deliciously. Look, I'm not even mad at y'all about that. You had that opportunity. That was your blessing. But don't, now the Most High is exposing you. He's exposing you. Now you're trying to act like, oh, well, you know, the Second Amendment. Nah, you weren't crying about the Second Amendment before when you were getting all the dainties. Now look, you got this 12 tribes chart, okay? This is the thing, okay? with Malcolm and all these guys at the 12 tribes chart. The Bible said that we were going to be mixed. Okay, we were going to be mixed in with everybody. We're going to look at the book of Enoch, which, you know, this is why though they don't want to talk about the Bible. I'm going to show you a couple things in the book of Enoch, was why these camps, especially like Malcolm and their elders and GMS, don't want to get into that. Because look, we've been mixed. So once you're mixed, you can't be saying things like all black people this, all Cubans that, right? You can't be saying all Puerto Ricans this, all Dominicans this. You can't be saying that because we're all mixed. But they're still pushing the tribes like so you're trying to tell me that all those Cubans that voted for Trump, that pretty much said F you niggas, I'm white, I'm not part of you guys, that they're all Manasseh. All of them. The one that said I will vote for Donald Trump, did her dance, everything else, getting deported, she's Manasseh. We are all over the world, but we are mixed in with all different. He always talks all confusion of face. Well, if you got to take that, then there will be confusions of face. Yes, but we're going to be mixed in because they just made all these borders. All right. So now Dominicans, me no black, me no black, me no black. So what you're trying to say, all of them are all Simeon. You see what I'm saying? Levi, Haitians. And I'm going to show you guys a comment, because on one of his videos, they put a comment of something I never said. I was like something about me saying that the Haitians were Hamites, which I never said. So people just going around and just putting words in my mouth and putting comments on people's stuff, saying things. Just like another guy did a video and said I was a black only Israelite, which I'm not, but okay. They're just sitting here just lying about all this stuff because they can't actually come against the information. So again, Cubans are supposed to be Manasseh. Does it look like these Cubans that you've been seeing are Manasseh? You judge people by their fruit, exactly. Now, you got all these different people who've been able to get citizenship here, right? You got all these people who've been able to get citizenship. So when they came over here and they, all these different groups, look, Dominicans, Cubans, West Indians, Mexicans, Colombians, Seminoles, Argentina, okay, Argentinians and everything else, right? So you got all these different people who've been able to come over, natives, they've been able to get out to a certain status. So therefore they were considered white, right? So therefore they were able to go get homes. Let me show you guys why the Second Amendment and the 14th Amendment are two totally different things. People are still benefiting today, okay, because of the misinterpretation of the 14th Amendment. Now, I'm gonna go to Zillow. Zillow, since I had driven up to Pebble Beach yesterday, look at these ridiculous houses, okay? Ridiculous, I used to golf a lot before I got into the truth. I still love to golf, but I don't have time to do it anymore. But I grew up during the Tiger Woods era when he was out there just killing it, right? But I had never been up there before, so I just drove up there and looking at the houses up there. I'm like, it gets you more pissed off because it's like Most High said he's gonna make you jealous. He's gonna use these base people to make us jealous, And it's just like a 17-mile road that just takes you all through these 3 different golf courses by the ocean, and you can see the houses, the golf courses, and the beach, and you're just looking at how deliciously these people have been living. You see what I'm saying? So I want to show you guys a little something. It goes exactly with all those people on these charts. A lot of them being European, were able to buy all these beautiful homes and just been living lavishly. Okay? Yes, we were provoked to jealousy. They're gonna miss some houses. This house right here is 15. It's one of the houses up there. A little public information. I said Zillow's a beast. We know what to look for. $15,550,000. That's what they're asking for. $15,550,000. 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 8,400 square feet. Okay. 5-acre lot. 5-acre lot, okay? So I'm gonna look at the property taxes these people are paying. Okay, the house was built in 1924. So the house is 100 years old. Could we buy houses like this in 1924? Hell no. Could people who maybe came over here on the 14th Amendment? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So let's take a look at the property tax. You got ocean views, grand fireplace, blah, blah, blah. But let's take a look at, I don't know how the hell they did this, but they dropped the history of like how much it's worth from like 16 million down to like $7 or $8 million. I have no idea in this market in California how you drop how much it's worth that much. But what I want to show you is that in 2001, they were paying $8,000 a year in property taxes on a $8,000 in property taxes. In 2018, they were paying $12,000 in property taxes. And then it goes 2021, 13,000, 2022, 13,000 a year in property taxes. 2024, $13,897 in property taxes. And they said the tax is only assessed at $1.2 million. They're paying around $1,000 because you know the house is free and clear. So you're paying $1,000 a year, a month in property taxes for a house that they're put up on the market for over $15 million. This is a prime example, okay? This is a prime example of the silver tsunami. Exactly, Jay. Silver tsunami. Now that's just one house. There are houses up and down the coast, a little bit inland, all over the place. And you start to think like, well, shit, people are paying more than that. And like these little cookie cutter houses, they're paying like $18,000, $19,000, $20,000 in property taxes. But they bought it so long ago, you just keep that in the family, and you're paying nothing for a house that's worth $15 million with an ocean view next to Pebble Beach. Those were things that we were not allowed to participate in. We were not allowed to buy those homes. We were not allowed to enjoy the American dream. So now that Trump is saying things like, look, 14th Amendment was for us. That means that all these other people shouldn't have even been here. We should have gotten our 40 acres and a mule and then been able to build on that. You see what I'm saying? Being able to build on all of that. We were never allowed to because we were not part of the system. And we've never been part of the system. We've been excluded from the system, even though the 14th Amendment was for us. You see what I'm saying? Even though it was set up for us, we didn't get included in that. So these people are now trying to look at in that case, the Second Amendment, blah, blah, blah. I was like, we've been locked out. Passing these things down from, that if they bought that one, they got multiple properties all over the place. You see what I'm saying? So when people like Malcolm out here are talking about like, hold on, let me find a picture. I took a picture of this comment. Malcolm had this video about, he's like, oh no, that's not it. He was talking about like all the stuff that's been happening in history was part of like the curses, right? And so Malcolm says all the end day prophecies wasn't taking place during the slave trade and Emmett Till. Are you serious? So what was that? What was all that then? So his title is "Keep Believing Jacob's Trouble Isn't Real." That's the name of his Malcolm's video. Keep believing Jacob's trouble isn't real. You know why you think this is Jacob's trouble? Is because you believe that all those people on the 12 tribes chart are Israel. Were those people Israel when we've been telling them about this truth and they wanted to hear nothing about it? Were they Israel when they've been anti-black? Like these Cubans and all these Latinos and stuff like that? Were they all part of our struggle? Were they part of the 14th Amendment when he said it was the people that were slaves, the children of the slaves? Was that it? No. You have added people that were not our people, that did not go through the things that we went through. So now you've got to say things like, oh, that's whatchamacallit. Oh, that wasn't Jacob's trouble. That's your opinion. That's all that is. That's not facts. That's your opinion. So he says, again, all the end day prophecies wasn't taking place during the slave trade in Emmett Till. The Valley of Jehoshaphat wasn't war-torn, nor a universal currency implantable on the table. So, shh, ninjas like roaches, something like that. I was like, so then what exactly was the slave trade for? What was Emmett Till for? What was that, all that? So what's been going on for the last, 500 years has nothing to do with prophecy. Who else believes that? The white man. The white man. He doesn't believe that all of these people who have been part of Psalms 83, they also believe that what's happened to us doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? I don't understand like how you could even say that. The whole part of Jacob's trouble is us losing our identity, being scattered, right? And then been treated horribly everywhere. And now that everything is switching, the Most High knows, like, it doesn't really matter what Malcolm and GMS and all the other camps say about the 12 tribes chart and whatever else. What only thing that matters is what the Most High says. So you're trying to say that now that these Cubans are being deported and whatever else, that they're being deported because now that's Jacob's trouble? So it has nothing to do with the fact that they've been racist against our people and they've been doing everything to undermine our people this whole time, and that's why the Most High is now opening up destruction on them? You know, it said that we were going to be, we're going to lose our identity. So the fact that you seem to think that you know the identity of every single Israelite on a 12 tribes chart shows me right there that that's not even biblical. All these different people, I said the Most High knows within each group who the Most High is going to have to go after, right? He already knows. It has nothing to do with your camp or your group knowing everything. You see what I'm saying? So again, how can you know then that all people, all Cubans are Manasseh? How can you know that if the Bible says you're not going to know who you are in the end days? But you guys are telling us that you know for sure that Colombia to Uruguay is Asher, all of them. Right? Native Americans, Gad, all of them. If they don't even believe it. That's the whole thing. Native Americans don't even accept accept the 12 tribes chart. They don't even accept being Israelites. So now the Most High is opening up destruction on an individual level. He's opening up on an individual level. All Negroes are Judah. But you just saw that girl right there going 10 toes down for the Second Amendment and the white man's breakdown. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make absolutely any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. When you go to 2nd Ezra 16:73, it says, "Then it shall be known who are my chosen." So you're not going to know till later on who are his chosen. And you're not going to know off a 12 tribes chart. And when you have if someone says, "Oh, the slave trade wasn't Jacob's trouble." What? Emmett Till was all that. So all that death and destruction was for no reason. All of that was just for no reason, just because. So we get to go through it twice, is what you're trying to say. I'm trying to get this to load real quick so I can.
The end result.
Oh, that's funny. He had my comment pinned, and now he took it down. Hold on. If I can find it. I was trying to find it. Now I don't see it. They talked about me saying that, Haitians or Hamites, and some person put some false information up about me and saying something I never said. Now I don't even see the comment there. I told the brother, said that's funny. He had the comment pinned, and now I don't see it. So you're trying to pin information of stuff that I, saying I said certain things that I never said. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So we're supposed to be, this is why they don't want to get into the book of Enoch. Okay? We were going to be given over into like 70 shepherds' hands. So this is over like a long period of time, right? But the Bible stops around, tops like after what, like, I don't know, 670 AD. They start talking about that, or even before that. So you're trying to say that for the next 2,000 years, there was no shepherds. There was no shepherds that were actually here has Israel in their hands. Well, the thing is, all you gotta do is look at history. Who's had the black people under subjection? Those are the shepherds. Whichever group has had us in their hands, they've been shepherds. So America had us under their hands. So therefore, the American people were shepherds. The Spaniards had us under their control. So they were shepherds. Spaniards over in Europe, when they were going after the Jews, they were shepherds. Spaniards when they got here, same thing. Portuguese, they came over here, same thing. The Dutch when they came over here, same thing. English when they came over here, same thing. They're all part of the 70 shepherds. So that's why Malcolm, GMS, and all these different camps say we don't approve of the book of Enoch, because they're hiding the fact that all of these European countries have been shepherds that the Most High gave us to them for a while, so that he can have a testimony against all of these different groups. Okay? So it's the book of Enoch right here. Okay? And about the 70 shepherds right here. He called also 70 shepherds and resigned to them the sheep, that they might overlook them, saying to them and to their associates. See, you got associates too. You got people, these spirits, even in the immigrants, there's still spirits that are in these people. So they got associates. They got people that are under them. Okay? Every one of you henceforth overlook the sheep. And whatsoever I command you do, and I will deliver them to you numbered. Okay? I will tell you which of them shall be slain, these destroy. And he delivered the sheep to them. Then he called to another and said, understand and watch everything which these shepherds shall do to these sheep, for many more of them shall perish than I have commanded. Of every excess and slaughter which the shepherds shall commit, there shall be an account, as how many may have perished by my command, and how many, okay, they have destroyed of their own heads. Of all the destruction by each of the shepherds there shall be an account, and according to the number I will cause a recital to be made, okay, before me, how many they have destroyed of their own heads, and how many they have delivered up to destruction, that I may have this testimony against them, that I may know all their proceedings, and that delivering to them I may see what they will do, whether they will act as I have commanded them or not. However, they shall be ignorant. Okay? They're going to be ignorant. They're not going to know anything. Neither shall you make any explanation to them. Neither shall you reprove them. But there shall be an account of all the destruction done by them in their respective seasons. Okay? So this 2,000 years from, 70 AD till now, Most High has been giving us to different shepherds this whole time. Giving us over to the shepherds. So they're going to be ignorant because they're going to believe, that, hey, we're nobody. We're nothing. We can do whatever we want to them. But we were given to them numbered, right? So they began to kill and destroy more than it was commanded them. When they came over here, Revelation 6 and 8, they killed so many that it changed like the weather patterns here or in the whole world. Okay? And they left the sheep in the power of the lions, and that very many of them were devoured and swallowed up by the lions and tigers, and wild boars preyed upon them. That tower they burnt and overthrew that house. Then I grieved extremely on account of the tower, and because the house of the sheep was overthrown. The shepherds likewise and their associates. Okay, so when they're allowing other immigrants to come over here and treat us like shit and destroy us and whatever else and get away with it, that's part of the whole thing with their associates. You get to come over here on the 14th Amendment. You get to come over here and get all of the dainties. You get to put them at the bottom. Same thing. The shepherds, likewise, and their associates, deliver them to all the wild beasts, that they might devour them, each of them, in his season, according to his number, was delivered up. Each of them, one with another, was described in a sefer. How many of them, one with another, were destroyed in a sefer? More, however, than was ordered, everyone killed and destroyed. Same thing. Now over here. Moreover also, all the sheep were blind. All the sheep are blind, and could not see, as were the shepherds likewise. Thus were they delivered up to the shepherds for a great destruction, who trod them under foot, and devoured them. Yet was their Adonai silent, until all the sheep in the field were destroyed. The shepherds and the sheep were all mixed together. Again, the shepherds and the sheep were all mixed together. But they did not save them from the power of the beast. But they did not save them from the power of the beast. So even though we were all mixed together, we were still at the bottom. Then he who wrote the sefer ascended, exhibited, and read it, okay, at the residence of Yahweh, of the sheep. He petitioned him for them and prayed, pointing out every act of the shepherds and testifying before him against them all. Then taking the sefer, he deposited it with him and departed. Okay? Hold on. And I observed during the time that thus 37 shepherds were overlooking, all of whom finished in their respective periods. As the first, others then received them into their hands, that they might overlook them in their respective periods, every shepherd in his own period. So this is showing you that, Book of Enoch is telling you that we were going to be going from one person, one group. They're going to have dominion over us again and again and again and again. People in these different areas had us on the 12 tribes chart. They've all had us, under their power. They've all had us under their power. So that's why you can't go to a 12 tribes chart and say all of Cuba is Manasseh, because now you're seeing that there's plenty of these Cubans that hate our guts and have not wanted to be anything like us and have treated us, have put us at the bottom and been racist towards us. Now again, there are going to be some, yes, that are our people. I'm not saying that. But see, these people here deal with absolutes, because that's all that they can do, is deal with absolute. All of these people are this and all. How the hell do you know? How in the hell do you guys know who's who? That is not a spiritual point at all. I'll show you a little bit more. Every shepherd in his own respective period. Now afterwards, I saw in the vision, that all the birds of heaven arrived, eagles, the avist, kites, and ravens. The eagle instructed them all. We know that they've been using that eagle from the Greeks to the Romans to the Americas. They use that eagle. So again, the eagle instructed them all. They began to devour the sheep. These are like the last groups, the revived Roman Empire. Okay? The eagle instructed them all. They began to devour the sheep, to peck out their eyes, and to eat up their bodies. They destroyed our vision. They disconnected us from our power. We were lost. We were blind. The Greeks, the Romans, the revived Roman Empire did this to the sheep. And you got people saying they're in the truth, but they're following eagle doctrine. So the sheep then cried out, for their bodies were devoured by the birds. I also cried out and groaned in my sleep against the shepherd which overlooked the flock. And I looked, while the sheep were eaten up by the dogs, by the eagles, and by the kites. They neither left them their body, nor their skin, nor their muscles, until their bones alone remained, until their bones fell upon the ground, and the sheep became diminished. And that goes with the valley of dry bones. So you're trying to tell me again, Malcolm, that the slave trade had nothing to do with prophecy? That Emmett Till and all of those things going on in the 1800s, 1900s has nothing to do with prophecy? Even though right here, that shows you exactly what's been going on with prophecy. Devouring us, killing us, destroying us. But because you say that the book of Enoch is no good, therefore we should read this and try to apply this to what has been happening to our people now. All because you and your elders say that. But who else says that? The white man, the Europeans, the colonizers. They're the ones that say, oh, the last 2,000 years doesn't matter. What happens is after we get raptured, then prophecy starts. That's when prophecy begins, after we get raptured. Really? That makes no sense. And see, even on this chart here, it says the Mexicans are the Aztecs. Well, we know now that the original Mexicans, Aztecs, were us. Talks about Asher being the Colombians, are the Incas. The original Incas were us. You see what I'm saying? Is that it's making no sense whatsoever? Hold on. show you something else. This is what you're already seeing this in the spirit realm, but it is going to manifest here. Okay, Yahweh opened the sefer of destruction. Okay, he's opened a sefer of destruction now. You're starting to see like it's starting up right now. He's marking people. Okay, destruction of that destruction which the last 12 shepherds wrought and pointed out before Yahweh of the sheep, that they destroyed more than those who preceded them. So there you go. The last 12 shepherds killed more than all the other ones who preceded him. The other, what, 70, 50 something, or 60 something? 58? So poured out before Yahweh of the sheep, that they destroyed more than those who preceded them. Okay? So this last 12, you're talking about the Greeks, the Romans, the revived Roman Empire, people who came over here. When is this all going to be fulfilled then in Jacob's trouble? When we all, I guess, are supposed to be going through it. Because it's talking about all these things are happening to his sheep, not to everybody. Main thing, all of these, the shepherds were, the sheep were handed over to the shepherds. And we know the sheep in the Bible is referring to the Israelites. So for the last 2,000 years, we've been delivered over to the other nations. The sheep were handed over already. I saw also that Yahweh of the sheep came to them, and taking in his hand the scepter of his wrath, seized the earth, which became rent asunder, while all the beasts and the birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, which closed over them. These other nations have already pretty much, sunk away from us. We're bringing out this knowledge and understanding, and the nations have sank away from us. They're not standing up in great boldness coming against what we're saying. They're not coming out in great boldness trying to prove us wrong. You see what I'm saying? So to sit there and act like the last couple thousand years, or even the last 500 years, had nothing to do with prophecy. I bet you Malcolm and GMS and all of them, their elders, won't touch Revelation 6 and 8. I bet you they won't touch Revelation 6 and 8. They talk about how they love the scriptures. They won't talk about Revelation 6 and 8. I ain't heard any of them try to break that down. Revelation 6 and 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. The fourth part of the earth is Israel. Is America, Turtle Island. That was the pale horse. That was the Europeans, the Spaniards, coming over here and bringing death and destruction over here to our people on these lands. Fourth part power was given to them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. They won't touch that. Just like they won't touch 2 Esdras 14, talking about more books in the last days. Definitely dogs of the conquest. So when it's telling you that we're gonna, no one's gonna know anything, people are not gonna understand what's going on, that's what happened already. Now we're coming out of not knowing. So like I said, that's very, very disingenuous. I said, because when you sit there and say that wasn't part of prophecy, then why are y'all using Deuteronomy 28:68 then? Why are y'all using Deuteronomy 28:68, to see who you are, but then say that has nothing to do with prophecy? Because like I said, then I guess that Deuteronomy 28:16-68 doesn't matter. We went through all that, but it doesn't matter. Because we got to go through it again. Oh, you can just use Deuteronomy 28:68 to show that we're the Israelites, but you can't use Deuteronomy 28:68 to say that, and all those curses were things that we went through already for the last 500 plus years, and that was fulfilling prophecy. That doesn't make any sense. You're trying to say Revelation 6:8 is not Jacob's trouble? Them coming over here and destroying our people over here. That's not Jacob's trouble. Just like saying that all these people in all these different groups are all Israelites, when they're not. They have not said, yes, I'm an Israelite. Let me follow these all statutes and commandments to the best of my ability. Let me learn more about my history. Let me learn more about myself, because they know that once you start going into history, they're going to be, that whole information about the vassals and the blassels will destroy them. About this whole 14th Amendment going to all of the immigrants and then the dainties and don't go to us, that would destroy them. So therefore, they can't go into history. Yeah, we had over 400 years of tribulations. That wasn't enough, apparently. Us losing our knowledge. And see, that's the whole thing. You talk about us losing our knowledge and understanding about who we are, but then you want to use the Bible to say that this shows us who we are, but then all the things that we've had to do, how we got to this point, wasn't part of prophecy. You know what I'm saying? That shows that we weren't part of prophecy. That wasn't part. Oh, our people being sold. Talks about that in Deuteronomy 28. That our children being sold, our women being sold, our men being sold, into slavery. That wasn't part of prophecy, though. That wasn't part of prophecy. Explain that to me exactly. How that wasn't part of prophecy. Hold on real quick, fam. Let me look for something. Just give me a quick minute. Okay. Okay. He said they want to use the Bible for what's convenient. Okay, I can use the Bible to find out that I'm Israel through all these things happening, but that doesn't mean that Jacob's trouble already passed. So Deuteronomy 28. 28:32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Because we were given to the 70 shepherds. So again, that's not part of prophecy, though. That's what you're telling me. Malcolm, you're trying to tell me that that's not part of prophecy. That has nothing to do with prophecy. That has nothing to do with Jacob's trouble. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. That we're going to be an astonishment, a proverb among all nations. So hey, you can use that to find out that you're an Israelite, but you can't use that to say that we've already gone through Jacob's trouble. They shall plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt not drink of the wine, nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Oh, so I know that I did that, but that doesn't mean that I've gone through Jacob's trouble already. They shall beget sons and daughters, but shall not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Hey, that happened to me. I'm an Israelite, but that has nothing to do with prophecy. That has nothing to do with Jacob's trouble. That's coming in the future. The Lord shall cause, hold on. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt not only shall be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Oh, that's okay to find out that I'm an Israelite, but that has nothing to do with Jacob's trouble. I'm just skipping around, man. You know, I don't got to read the whole chapter. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Oh, that's me. I'm an Israelite. But that doesn't have anything to do with Jacob's trouble, though. That's coming in the future. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle. Eagle again. The eagle representing who? The Romans, the revived Roman Empire. A nation whose tongue thou shalt understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thine kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustedest throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. So he's got to come to a land that the Most High has given me, destroy those lands, and pretty much put my people in captivity, sell my people, rape, rob, murder, and steal. But I can figure out that I'm an Israelite because of that. But that wasn't Jacob's trouble. Nick, get the fuck out of here. Really? Are you serious? Thank you guys for taking care of these trolls out here. I appreciate y'all taking care of the chat. Now see, all the other nations had to go through this too, if they were part of our group. If they were part of the Israelites, they would have had to go through this. And then the Most High is going to awaken select ones at the end. I mean, we can read all of it. It's like, bruh, you always like to, oh, we are the Israelites because we've gone through this, and that. But that wasn't part of Jacob's trouble. That's coming in the future because I say so, because you haven't studied enough, or you're not part of GMS because we have 100% truth. Bruh, you ain't, what? We're reading the same stuff you reading, just like the churches do. But we are totally coming to the total opposite conclusions. You are sounding just like the churches out here. Hold on. Okay. All right. He's sounding just like these churches, reading the same Bible, but then coming up with your own breakdowns that make no sense. Now, that was my fault. No, they're not cutting me off. I said that was my fault. Someone tried to call me on my phone. So this isn't a get on GMS day or whatever else. I just, something popped up. Most High wanted me to talk about that because, again, this goes back to what's going on with these other nations right now. Like, you guys are like trying to like say, oh, the 14th Amendment means this now. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? I said, it's not, we're now in February. I mean, in July. I said, there's going to be big things coming on. They were talking about how people are getting pulled over and that ICE is like pretty much erasing people out of databases. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all seen those videos. But I'm being just like the Hamites, playing videos and just looking at my phone. How they be doing it. Your sister is bringing
I hope this is my last video on immigration undocumented because I'm tired of talking about it. But I don't want people to think I'm not explaining it to you in all angles. And this is what I'm going to say. It's just like when you get on the plane and they tell you, you need to put your seatbelt on before you put it on somebody else because you can't help them. America is not in a position to continue to help everybody. And I know that sounds like a cliche. People say that. So let me break it down. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Americans can afford to rent an apartment almost everywhere. Americans don't have a retirement. Americans can't afford medication. So when you guys act like removing millions of people out of the system wouldn't make a difference, that's a lie. Now, the tugging on the heartstrings and making people feel guilt, that has worked, which is how we got to this mess. Everybody wanted to be like, well, yeah, we don't want to see them do this to the people. But when you look closer at what's actually happening and at the evidence, there's so many Americans I see online. I'm old enough to know those people who can't even get a job up the street, won't get hired. Now, if the market wasn't saturated, they would have that job at the McDonald's in the morning on the morning shift. That's a reality. So what it is, you guys want to build your dream. And you're willing to break the law to build your dream. All we're saying is we want to build our dream, and the resources are limited in this world. You guys want to talk about capitalism and what capitalism does to all of us, but that's not the conversation. Unless you guys are planning on overthrowing the capitalism system itself, until it crumble, we still live in this system.
And that's the thing. They've been able to chase their dreams on our lands. You see, this goes to being a biblical thing. It's a biblical thing. You know, I said that was part of your blessing to be able to come over here and build your dreams, but that was only for a certain amount of time. It was not going to be forever. And that's what people are having a hard time with. Thinking it was going to be forever, and it's not.
What did we say? Black people tried to warn y'all. I don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. Cut the fucking shit. Stop tagging Deontay Kyle. Stop making fucking think pieces. Trying to drag people's energy back into this shit. Talking about, oh, we'll be next and we're not exempt from this quote unquote fascism and all this other fucking bullshit. When have black people ever not been subjugated by the hands of the state and by the hands of this motherfucking country? Us, our ancestors, and the people that came after in between us. We have always been warning people. We have always been trying to make call to actions and unionize and build communities. We have always been trying to do this shit. We have always been trying to speak up and use our voices. And now we have come to the realization that people are just going to have to fuck around and find out. We tried to warn y'all and we said, when the shit hits the fan and it starts spinning around, do not call our number. Do not...
See, that goes against what even what Malcolm and these guys keep saying about Jacob's trouble in the future. That's when you hear about, oh, you're next. That right there is that in the future. That's Jacob's trouble in the future. You're next, because you have ignored, or you on purpose, you have hidden the fact that we've already been going through Jacob's trouble. We've already been going through all of this. So whenever you hear that you're next, that's Malcolm. That's GMS. You're next. Jacob's trouble is coming for you next. As if we haven't gone through it already. You see what I'm saying?
Bring our line, because we're not going to fucking answer. Now look. And I told y'all before, even on my own page, If y'all want to come over here, that's cool. This is America. Have your shit together. But I told y'all, one way or another, if you want to come over here and step foot on this land, we warned y'all. Uncle Sam is going to make sure you pay that motherfucking tax one way or another. It's the good old American way. And y'all didn't fucking believe us when we said it out of our mouths. So sometimes when you don't listen, you have to experience it for your own self. And that's just the motherfucking way of life. Me, my elders, and my ancestors who go way back before them have shed blood and have been hung from trees. There ain't nothing that I'm seeing today that even compares or even comes close to that. So don't ever come on here trying to goddamn pull black people back into this shit when we are tired. We are ancestrally tired.
And that's it. Again, ancestrally tired. Our ancestors have been the ones going through all of this. And then you tell us not to, acknowledge our ancestors. That's evil. Nah, that's called justice. Your ancestors didn't go through this, so you're not in no position to tell us what we can and can't do with our ancestors. You see what I'm saying? So again, that goes against what these people are talking about, the whole future of us going through Jacob's trouble in the future. This sister had a really good video too.
To all of the Gentile nations, and specifically the Caucasian ones in the United States of America, y'all keep getting on this app crying about how hard it is to maintain with your jobs, with your mortgages, with your light bill, with your food, with your children, with your spouses, with your businesses, with your cars. And you are already throwing.
Yeah, he can come whenever he wants to.
Because you are finding it difficult to maintain in a nation which has broadly let you know it does not care about you. Your so-called savior, Trump, has betrayed you in every way. But you were okay with the evils that he had set in motion as long as you thought it was coming just to people that look like me.
Mm-hmm.
But now that he has ultimately betrayed your trust, he has backhanded slapped you after you gave him your energy in your vote. Now you are becoming completely unraveled at the fact that your life is going to hell in a handbasket, all because of your so-called savior. Please understand that this is judgment by the Almighty Yahuwah. He told you, like he told us, he was going to give you a double portion of what you gave us. When we screamed reparations, you said, why should I have to pay for something that I was not a part of, that my ancestors did? But you had no problem living off of the perpetuated wealth of the slavery that happened to my people that you lived so comfortably and deliciously in. How does that not make you an accomplice to your very ancestors who established a system for you to have the wealth of everybody else and live well? And as long as you were living well, it was all good. You could care less about whose backs were broken for you to live comfortably. But now that you are starting to reap the destruction of your ancestors and their systematic hatred and their perpetual wickedness upon all on this earth, now you feel some type of way because you're finding it hard to keep your family fed. You're finding it hard to keep a roof over your head. You're finding it hard to keep a vehicle up under your ass, all due to somebody who looks just like you. And when we, as black people, the true Israelites, the true chosen, were saying the same thing for the discrimination and the redlining and the gentrifying and the low wages and the wealth gap in America here, you told us that we were playing victim. And you also told us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. You are looking for sympathy on the internet after going through something for 5 minutes. 5 minutes that you've dealt with this bullshit. And we've been dealing with it for centuries. So why aren't you telling each other the same thing you told black people, which was to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Could it be that it is impossible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps when the whole system is fettered against you? I bet you got a little understanding now, though, don't you? And in your arrogance of thinking that as long as it was only happening to us, you were good, now that it's happening to you, you feel some type of way in your chest. You feel like failures. You feel like no matter what you do, no matter how hard in the paint you go, no matter how many hours you work, no matter how much money you try to put aside, nothing works. Nothing works. And the reason why it's not working is because the Almighty has already proclaimed and declared that he is on your heads. Whatsoever a man soweth, so shall he reap. And you are in the reaping season. So for all of that nonsense that y'all kick about not being your ancestors, but you still perpetuate the very system that your ancestors created and lived well in, and now that it is eating your face, you find discomfort. Well, if you weren't your ancestors, the Most High surely wouldn't have a reason to judge you as your ancestors, now would he? But he is. And you're going to consume this double portion. And you're going to swallow every bit of it, because you made us swallow it. And in your relentlessness and in your mercilessness against us to keep us at the bottom, you too will feel the effects, even to every generation of child you have. So enjoy it. Stop crying. We're only at the beginning, and you have a double portion coming to you. So you might as well strap in, buckle up, and pray to whatever God you serve. Because regardless of how much crying and praying you do, it cannot hear you. It is dead. The only living true God is the Almighty Creator of all Yahuwah. And he will have his way, no matter what y'all do, no matter what you say. If it was good for us, baby, it's great for y'all. Enjoy that double portion. We're already used to it. As you will.
That's it. The curse gate is open, right? Get them dregs. I said there's nothing. So now the Most High, what you guys have said about who's who, what's what, doesn't matter. The Most High is making sure that whoever's supposed to get this work is going to get it. So telling people, oh, your dad's Cuban? Oh, you're good. I remember that when I first got, oh, your dad's Mexican? Oh, you're good. Oh, yeah, come on in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're Irish? Oh, yeah, come on in here. You're a confusion to face. Come on in here. Just inviting everybody all in. Then you ask those people, hey, have you read the Apocrypha? Did you get your Apocrypha? No. Have you read the Bible? No. All right, bro. You know, and still trying to tell them that they're okay. Come on now. This is Pluto definitely is in the midst. Like I said, seventh month, it's number 7 again, spiritual completion. 7th month anniversary, July the 10th. And we see, things are just ramping up. So you guys talking about the Second Amendment, that you guys' breakdown, Most High not listening to you. As you can see, y'all been asking for the Most High to have mercy on you. He hasn't had any. You're asking, to go back to normal. Most High not doing that either. In fact, things have gotten nothing but worse. All right, family. I'm going to let you guys go. Much love. Shalom.